Good afternoon. I call this meeting of the Michigan Public Service Commission to order on Thursday, December 20th at 1:30 p.m. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Palberg.
Present?
Commissioner Sari.
Present.
Commissioner Eubanks.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. First up, we have approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, move approval of the agenda for today's commission meeting.
Second the approval of the agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved. Item 2, we have the minutes from the regular commission meeting on December 6, 2018.
Madam Chair, move approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting on December 6, 2018.
Second the approval of the minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting minutes are approved. Third, we have approval of orders on our consent agenda. And today the commission is assisted by Blair Renfro and staff.
Good afternoon. Today's consent agenda consists of 6 proposed orders for each of these matters have been thoroughly vetted by the technical and legal staff.
Madam Chair, I move approval of all orders listed on today's consent agenda.
Second the approval of the orders on the consent agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The orders are approved.
Item 4A1 is case number U adoption of rules for the
Madam Chair, move approval of order U20160.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4A2 is case number U calls readoption of rules for the provision. Order before you formally adopt.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U20161.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Lifeline discount acquired as a result of changes. Staff member Ryan McEnany is here to
Good afternoon.
Commissioners, the order before you is also interpretation of voice only service. And background. On April 27th, 2016, Federal Communications modernized brief program to include broadband service. 2016 Lifeline Modernization Order. Federal Lifeline Program. Not in line with the federal criteria applied for and received. Most recent waiver extension expires on December 31st. However, the commission did apply for another 6 months. Offered to eligible low-income and senior by residential basic local stage providers under Section 316 Communications Act. Specifically, the commission sought comment on the following matters. First, the amount of the current Lifeline discount being applied to eligible customers by the providers of basic local. Second, how the current discount will be affected by the change in the federal. Third, if the discount with the new Lifeline discount for Michigan. Comments were submitted by the Telecommunications Association. SC staff, thoroughly reviewed by the commission. For you concludes. Offer a Lifeline discount of 5 cents to low-income customers, $12.35 to low-income senior customers. Providers subject
Thank you, and thank you for your leadership on, oh, that's better. With the mic? Can you hear me in the back?
Oh, sorry.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McEnany, for your leadership on the Lifeline issues. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U 20335.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Thanks.
Item 4B1 is case number U-18043 et al., which involves amendment of the rules governing technical standards for electric service. Staff member Cody Matthews is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Cody Matthews, and I work in the Smart Grid section of the Energy Operations Division. As Michigan utilities become more modernized, utilities must continuously assess and upgrade their defenses to cybersecurity attacks. Increased security risks arise largely, but not exclusively, because grid modernization involves increasing the number of digital access points within the electric distribution system and increasing the number of and level of control by networked devices. Given the concerns about cybersecurity, critical infrastructure, and the need for uniformity in reporting among regulated utilities, the Commission directed the staff to craft rules to be included in the technical standards for electric service to expand the cybersecurity reporting to all regulated utilities in the state, including member-regulated electric cooperatives. Previously, the Commission staff had met regularly with utilities to discuss cybersecurity planning, protections, and investments. Under the new rules, regulated utilities in Michigan will provide staff with annual reports about the status of their cybersecurity programs. This rule also establishes cybersecurity incident reporting requirements that require certain confirmed cybersecurity incidents to be reported to both staff and the Michigan Fusion Center. To give the public and stakeholders an opportunity to comment on the proposed rules, a public hearing was held in May. Following a joint committee on administrative rules waiver on December 11th, the Commission now has the authority to formally adopt these cybersecurity rules. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U-18043 et al.
Second.
And just before we go to vote, I just want to say thank you for your work on this rulemaking, and also, appreciate the legislature through the JCAR process granting the waiver so that we could adopt the final rules this year. It's a critical step to help protect critical assets against security threats. So again, thank you. We look forward to working with the staff to get updates on the annual assessments of the utilities. And with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B2 is case number U-18076, which involves an application by DTE Electric Company requesting an extension of the enrollment term of a voluntary renewable energy pilot program. The order before you approves the extension of the enrollment term in date to December 31st, 2019.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U-18076.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Items 4B3 through 4B6 are case numbers U-18091, U-8092, U-18093, and U-18095 et al., which involve proceedings to establish avoided cost calculations pursuant to the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978. Staff member Caitlin Buchanan is here to describe these orders.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. On May 3rd, 2016, the Commission opened several dockets for Michigan rate-regulated utilities to file avoided cost methods and calculations in accordance with the requirements of the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978, otherwise known as PURPA. As a brief background, PURPA is a federal statute implemented in part by the states. It requires the purchase of energy and capacity from qualifying facilities, or QFs, by electric providers at the electric provider's avoided cost. Determining an avoided cost methodology and setting avoided costs is the responsibility of the states. When the Commission began its re-examination of PURPA in 2015, it was the first time in over 2 decades that avoided costs and methodologies had been undertaken. The impetus now being the significant changes in Michigan's energy landscape and the imminent expiration of many of the original PURPA contracts. As such, there are now 4 orders before the Commission addressing PURPA avoided costs. Case number U18091 for DT Electric Company. Case number U18092 for Indiana Michigan Power Company. Case number U18093 for Northern States Power Company. And case numbers U18095 and U18096, which is a consolidated proceeding for Upper Michigan Energy Resources Corporation. The following is a brief summary of each of the orders before you. Case number U18091 for DTE Electric Company involves a remanded proceeding, and the order before you grants DTE Electric Company's August 30th, 2017 request for rehearing, grants the company's requested relief in part, adopts an avoided cost methodology based on the natural gas combined cycle plan approved in case number U18419, and remands the proceeding. The order before you in case number U18092 for Indiana Michigan Power Company approves an avoided capacity cost based on a combustion turbine and approves an avoided energy cost of a 5-year fixed rate set at the forecasted PJM locational marginal price, or LMP, followed by a variable LMP-based rate. The order also remands the case for the limited purposes of providing an updated energy forecast and the PJM equivalent of the MISO effective load carrying capability factor, as well as addressing the company's capacity need and planning horizon. The order before you in case number U18093 for Northern States Power Company approves an avoided capacity cost based on the Commission staff's proxy combustion turbine methodology, approves an avoided energy cost of a 5-year fixed rate, followed by a variable rate based on MISO market values, and directs the company to address its capacity need in its upcoming integrated resource plan case. Case numbers U18095 and U18096 involve a consolidated proceeding on the applications of Wisconsin Public Service Corporation, or WPSC, and Wisconsin Electric Power Company, or WEPCO, to establish an avoided cost calculation pursuant to PURPA. During the pendency of this proceeding, all of WPSC's and WEPCO's electric and gas distribution facilities in Michigan were transferred to Upper Michigan Energy Resources Corporation, or UMERC, a wholly owned subsidiary of WEC Energy Group Incorporated, serving approximately 36,500 electric customers in Michigan. The order before you approves an avoided cost methodology, setting avoided capacity costs at MISO market rates and an avoided energy cost at a 5-year fixed rate, followed by a variable rate based on the forecasted market values for energy that were used in UMERC's Certificate of Necessity proceeding in case number U18224. The order releases WEPCO from its obligation. The order also releases WEPCO from its obligation to establish avoided costs pursuant to this proceeding, and permits the company to continue to operate under the status quo until its imminent departure as an electric provider in Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of order U18091.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U18092.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U18093.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U18095 et al.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Thank you, Ms. Buchanan.
Item 4B7 is case number U-18333, which involves a remand from the Michigan Court of Appeals seeking a determination from the Commission as to whether the net loss revenue tracker at issue in this proceeding is an unlawful revenue decoupling mechanism pursuant to the court's holding in Enbridge Energy Limited Partnership v. Upper Peninsula Power Company. The order before you denies a petition for rehearing filed by Indiana Michigan Power Company.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U18333.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B8 is case number U-18351, which involves a petition for rehearing filed by Consumers Energy Company in response to the Commission's October 5th, 2018 order. The order before you denies the petition.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U-18351.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B9 is case number U-18361, which involves promulgation of rules establishing a code of conduct for utilities and alternative electric suppliers. The order before you formally adopts the rules. Staff member Kirk Forbes is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon. I'm Kirk Forbes, manager of the Analytical Support Section of the MPSC's Regulated Energy Division. The order before you is the last step in the rulemaking process required by Public Act 341 of 2016, which directs the Public Service Commission to adopt code of conduct rules that govern value-added programs and services offered by utilities. While the MPSC does not have oversight over the value-added program or service, staff may initiate investigation into transactions between the utility and its affiliates to ensure compliance with the code of conduct. A utility seeking to offer its customers a value-added program or service must notify the MPSC at least 30 days in advance and demonstrate that the proposed program or service meets the criteria required by law. The new Code of Conduct rules incorporate value-added programs offered by utilities to existing guidelines that govern the interactions between regulated utility companies and their unregulated affiliates, alternative electric suppliers, and cooperatives. All utilities, including electric, natural gas, and steam utilities, are subject to the Code of Conduct. The new rules apply to utilities with more than 150 employees. The main purpose of the Code of Conduct is to prevent cross-subsidization of utilities' unregulated activities by its regulated activities. It's to prevent preferential treatment by the utility of its unregulated affiliates over the competition of the utility's affiliate that could result in restraint of trade or competition in an unregulated market. And finally, is to prevent sharing of information between a utility and a regulated electric, steam, or natural gas service and unregulated programs and services. In short, the role of the MPSC is to protect the interests of customers by ensuring that utilities do not use their unique access to utility customers' information and ratepayer funding in a way that disadvantages companies offering value-added programs and services in competition with the utility. If a utility shares information from its regulated business with its unregulated business affiliate, that information must be shared upon request with the competitors of its affiliate. The MPSC staff will meet with all interested stakeholders to create a process for competitors who wish to receive information that is shared by the utility. Lastly, all utilities will continue to file their Code of Conduct annual report with the Commission by April 30th of each year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on this rulemaking.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U-18361.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. I would just note that the staff had prepared an issue brief on this rulemaking dealing with code of conduct, as well as the cybersecurity rulemaking that we recently just approved a couple of items ago. And those will be available on our website later today. Thank you.
Item 4B10 is case number U-20084 et al., which involves a matter on the Commission's own motion to require DTE Electric Company and DTE Gas Company to show cause why they should not be found in violation of the Consumer Standards and Billing Practices for Electric and Natural Gas Service. Staff member Jake Thalen is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
After DTE Electric Company and DTE Gas Company, collectively DTE, introduced their SAP Customer 360 billing system in April 2017, the Commission staff began receiving customer complaints regarding the implementation of that system and learned that DTE was shutting off utility service allegedly in violation of the Commission's Consumer Standards and Billing Practices for Electric and Natural Gas Service, the billing rules. On December 20th, 2017, the Commission opened an investigation in case number U-18486 into DTE's billing and shutoff practices and directed DTE to file a report in that docket by January 22nd, 2018. DTE filed their report on January 22nd, 2018, but later informed staff that the report contained inaccurate information and would be amended. An amended report was later filed on January 29th, 2018. The obvious rule violations, combined with a pattern of inaccurate reporting, misinformation, and missing information, led the Commission to subsequently determine that an additional response was necessary. On February 5th, 2018, the Commission issued a show cause order that required, in part, DTE to file testimony regarding the extent and nature of improper shutoffs that occurred from January 2017 to the present, and why DTE should not be found in violation of the billing rules. Both the Attorney General and the Residential Customer Group, RCG, intervened in this matter. On November 7th, 2018, additional settlement discussions were held in lieu of beginning cross-examination. At the end of those discussions, a settlement was entered on the record with the condition that RCG would be provided 48 hours to obtain the approval of the RCG board. The major provisions of the settlement include DTE continuing to refund any deposit and reconnect fees with applicable interest to all current and future customers identified as being improperly shut off, to convene a meeting with staff and file reports in the docket addressing the concerns relative to customers receiving consecutive estimates on their bills. DTE also commits to replacing the AMI smart meters of all electric customers currently electing service under the company's non-transmitting meter provision with digital meters that are not capable of transmitting any signals. DTE will have a series of audits performed regarding its shutoff and billing practices. DTE will also have a one-time audit of its Executive Customer Assistance Center to assess its effectiveness of operations against industry best practices. Staff will have the opportunity to review and comment on all audit work plans prior to the commencement of the audit. DTE and staff will meet quarterly to discuss issues relative to the subjects contained in the settlement agreement. DTE will pay a fine of $840,000. Costs incurred by DTE under the settlement agreement will not be recovered in rates. All parties were aware that if the RCG board did not vote to approve the settlement, the remaining parties would proceed with a contested settlement. Regrettably, on November 9th, 2018, RCG's counsel informed the parties that the RCG board did not approve the settlement that was entered on the record. The settlement agreement is in the public interest and represents a fair and reasonable resolution of this enforcement matter. The order before you approves the settlement agreement and also orders DTE to file a report in the docket in case number U18486 detailing the current status of the SAP Customer 360 implementation effort, including information on the efficiency and functionality of the system and whether implementation is complete and what steps remain. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your work on this important matter. We take very seriously the Commission's customer protection standards and the application of them to protect customers. I just want to acknowledge, Jake, your work as well as your manager, Chris Forrest, and others in the Customer Assistance Division and the attorneys representing the staff in this matter to bring about this resolution. So thank you. With that, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U20084 et al.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B11 is case number U-20152, which involves the promulgation of rules governing consumer standards and billing practices for electric and natural gas service. Staff member Karen Gould is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon, Chair Talberg, Commissioner Sari, and Commissioner Eubanks. My name is Karen Gould, and I'm the manager of the Energy Waste Reduction section of the Energy Resources Division. On December 21 of 2016, Public Act 295 was amended by Public Act 342. This amendment, among other things, allowed for service providers whose rates are regulated by the Commission to establish residential energy projects programs. Approved program plans would allow for repayment of an energy project loan for improvements such as air sealing or insulation, high-efficient furnaces and air conditioning units, water heaters, and high-efficient appliances through itemized charges on a customer's utility bill, otherwise known as on-bill financing. In April of 2017, staff gathered input from 2 stakeholder meetings and incorporated the information into the on-bill financing section of the roadmap to implementing Michigan's new energy policy's final report. The order before you finalizes a required formal process that began in January of this year to amend the Commission's consumer standards and billing practices for electric and natural gas service. The rule changes were first submitted to the Office of Regulatory Reinvention and finished by allowing the Joint Committee on Administrative Rules to file a notice of objection. The committee was given 15 session days to object, and having no objections on December 5th, waived any remaining session days so the Commission could be granted authority to formally adopt these changes. Thank you.
Great, thank you. With this rule and the others today, this represents all the one-time requirements for the commission to complete under the state's energy laws from 2016, and we're just about at the 2-year mark from when that law was signed by the governor. All right, with that, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U20152.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Item 4B12 is case number U-20168, which involves an ex parte application by Upper Peninsula Power Company requesting authority to amend its street lighting tariffs to provide expanded use of light-emitting diode street lighting service. The order before you approves the request.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U20168.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Items 4B13 and 4B14 are case numbers U-20284 et al. And case number U-20286 et al., which involve the Credit B applications filed by DTE Electric Company and Consumers Energy Company, respectively. Staff member Dave Isaacson is here to describe these orders.
Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Isaacson. I'm an analyst with the Rates and Tariffs section of the Regulated Energy Division here at staff. And let's go. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 has kept the Commission busy this year. Throughout the summer, the Commission approved $380 million in initial rate decreases for Michigan customers. Those reductions were delivered through Credit A, which represented the tax cuts going forward effects on rates. To date, the Commission has approved an additional $64.3 million in Credit B refunds. Credit B accounts for the historic tax effects between January 1st, 2018, when the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act went into effect, and the approval of Credit A refunds this summer. Today, the Commission is voting for approval of 2 more Credit B applications from DTE Electric and Consumers Energy Electric. The orders before you today refund $69.9 million to Consumers Energy Electric customers and $92.8 million to DTE Electric customers, and will go into effect in January. This more than triples the total refunds authorized for Credit B. To date, a total of $227 million will begin to return to customers through Credit B, and mostly during the heating season. The only remaining Credit B refunds will be from Indiana Michigan Power, which would complete 2 of the 3 steps the Commission ordered to return tax cut savings to Michigan utility ratepayers. Following Credit B will be Calculation C, which will encompass the long-term, more technical accounting effects of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Madam Chairman, let's go. I move approval of Order U20284 et al.
second. I think it's the other people in the room that want to go. And Commissioner Eubanks, I don't think you can miss an opportunity to talk about this topic.
No, and thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks, Dave, for the great summary. And speaking of anniversaries of laws, we are almost at the 1-year mark of the Commission's actions related to federal tax change-related proceedings. In that relatively short amount of time, our administrative law judges, staff, utilities, stakeholders have completed a tremendous amount of work in over 20 individual cases. The impact for customers across Michigan being served by 12 different utilities has been tremendous. $380 million in reductions from Credit A proceedings, and today, $227 million in reductions from Credit B proceedings, with I&M yet to come. The large amount of Credit B refunds for consumers and DTE Electric customers being approved today, $162.7 million, as Dave noted, is particularly noteworthy. The Calculation C cases that address larger and longer-term issues, like deferred taxes, will be more complicated, but we encourage all involved to continue to work together efficiently to deliver these significant benefits to customers on a timely basis. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. And with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Madam Chair, I move approval of Order U20286 et al.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Item 4B15 is case number U-20290, which involves the ex parte application of Northern States Power Company to implement light-emitting diode automatic outdoor lighting services. The order before you approves the application.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U-20290.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4B16 is case number U-20341, which involves an ex parte application by Indiana Michigan Power Company for deferred accounting treatment of certain amounts of lost cost recovery related to customer choice. The order before you denies the request.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U-20341.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4C1 is case number U-17826, which involves the promulgation of rules governing gas pipeline safety. Staff member Tim Wolf is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Since the Michigan Gas Safety Standards first became effective in 1957, the Commission has updated these rules every few years to refine the rules and ensure compliance with federal gas safety standards. The current rulemaking process for the 24th edition of the Michigan Gas Safety Standards began on September 15, 2016. On February 22, 2018, the Commission released for comment the proposed rule changes recommended by the staff, including proposed amendments to 25 gas safety rules, with rescission of one rule and the addition of 2 new rules. Majority of the changes proposed were clerical in nature, addressing gaps between our Michigan Gas Safety Standards and the adopted federal standards. Comments were solicited at a public meeting and in writing. Some of the significant changes that I would like to highlight include a new rule that prohibits the future installation of master meter facilities unless through a waiver, which requires the gas operators to enter into operations agreements with master meter owners and report on the status of these systems annually to the staff. Another new rule prohibits the installation of farm tap facilities unless specific safety criteria are met. Additionally, this rule requires gas operators to report on the status of these facilities annually. In other rules, the Commission establishes general records retention guidelines for operators to demonstrate compliance with the Michigan Gas Safety Standards. The Commission expands the scope of the Michigan reporting requirements for construction projects to mimic the reporting requirements in the federal code. And finally, the federal requirements for states participating in the pipeline safety program require state partners such as Michigan to establish a risk-based inspection process. Changes to this rule set create a requirement that operators submit infrastructure data from their annual report on a regional basis so that additional gas safety inspections can be focused on areas of higher risk. The order before you formally adopts these rule changes, which will become effective 7 days after they are submitted to the Secretary of State's office. The gas safety staff is certain that these changes to the rules will further our mission to enhance the safety of natural gas systems in Michigan for the welfare of the citizens and the visitors of this great state, and appreciates the Commission's support during this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on this rulemaking. It ensures that we're able to incorporate best practices as we learn more about the gas industry and ensuring public safety. Is there a motion? And then I think Commissioner Sari has some remarks.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U-17826.
Second.
Commissioner Sari.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I want to strongly reinforce the excellent safety message delivered by Tim Wolf. The Commission is certain that the changes to these rules will further our mission to enhance the safety of natural gas systems in Michigan for the welfare of the citizens and visitors of this great state. No one plans to have a natural gas safety accident, but everyone should plan to avoid one from occurring. The gas local distribution companies in Michigan have laudable safety records, but no one should make the false assumption that gas accidents only happen in California and the East Coast. This year, our gas safety staff has investigated numerous incidents statewide, including a serious gas pipeline explosion in Oakland County and a pipeline strike that recently occurred on a gas line serving Belle Isle. The property damages were repairable, and we were fortunate there were no personal injuries caused from these accidents. with a continued emphasis on replacing the aging gas main distribution infrastructure in Michigan's continued reliance on safe and reliable gas storage fields. These new rules will serve as additional toolkit resources for Commission gas inspectors to work with utilities and contractors. I would be remiss if I did not again encourage the gas utilities to implement a similar type of safety management system program that PHMSA is advocating nationwide. That extra focus on natural gas safety is not a check the box for customer satisfaction and a measure to avoid legal consequences, but needs to be a thoughtful commitment for a safe and prosperous new year. Thank you, Tim, and thank you for your colleagues who are in the field every day making sure that we have a safe natural gas system in Michigan.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Thank you. And safe travels north.
Item 4C2 is case number U-18010, which involves an application by Consumers Energy Company requesting approval of amendments to firm and interruptible gas transportation contracts between the company and Midland Cogeneration Venture Limited Partnership. The order before you affords Consumers Energy Company 30 days to withdraw its notice of withdrawal of application. Otherwise, its request to withdraw will be granted, its amended application will be dismissed with prejudice, and the docket will be closed.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U-18010.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4C3 is case number U-18999, which involves an application filed by DTE Gas Company for authority to increase its rates for the distribution of natural gas and for other relief. The order before you denies a petition for rehearing and reconsideration filed by Retail Energy Supply Association.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U-18999.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4C4 is case number U-20339, which involves an ex parte application filed by DTE Gas Company requesting authority to defer the recovery of amounts associated with park service costs. The order before you denies the application.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order U-20339.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Next up on the agenda, we have item 5, our year-end review. When I became chairman in 2016, we began celebrating milestones at our last commission meeting through a year-end review. I thought it was impossible to surpass the activity in 2017, but 2018 has turned out to be quite a year. Just this meeting alone, we had 39 orders addressing a broad variety of complex topics. We made significant accomplishments to further our agency's mission, and that is to ensure safe, reliable, affordable energy for energy and telecommunications services. We are sharing 10 highlights, but this really reflects only a fraction of the work that is done day to day by our team and accomplishments in 2018. I wish that this was as entertaining as David Letterman's top 10 items, but bear with me. First up, and this was touched on through numerous voting items today on our agenda, is the energy law implementation. The Commission reached milestones during this year to implement major aspects of the state's landmark energy laws from 2016. This included ongoing discussions with stakeholders and staff through various studies and formal proceedings to achieve affordable, reliable, and cleaner energy for Michigan residents. These laws are critical to helping Michigan adapt our regulatory approaches to the changing world around us with the integration of new energy technologies such as solar, battery storage, and electric vehicles. We also learned that customers are increasingly engaged in the decision-making process about how their energy is used and produced. Commission staff was engaged in activities this year addressing topics such as integrated resource planning, adequacy of our long-term power supplies, demand response, increased investments in energy waste reduction and renewable energy, on-bill financing, pricing for customer-owned distributed generation, performance-based rate making, code of conduct and value-added services, voluntary green pricing programs, and last but not least, PURPA. several of these items were addressed just today. We also operate now under a compressed 10-month rate case schedule, which I know can put burdens on the administrative law judge, the parties, commissioners, and all involved. We want to recognize the legislature and Governor Snyder for their vision in this policy and their leadership, and having confidence in the MPSC to implement these important laws. Our staff maintain their focus to engage varied interest groups on these important issues, and I want to also thank the stakeholders who provided dedicated input and valuable information to help us make informed decisions to best serve the public. This first one, the first couple are kind of lengthy, so bear with me. I won't be as long as Fidel Castro's 7-hour famous speech. We'll get there. Number 2, infrastructure planning and approvals. This is a top priority for us at the Commission. It's no secret we face significant challenges with aging infrastructure, from electric substations, wires, poles, to natural gas pipelines, compressor stations, and storage fields. Modernizing our infrastructure is critical to public safety, service reliability, and our overall economy. The Commission reviewed numerous energy infrastructure proposals to ensure they provided the best value to customers. I'll touch on a few. In April, we approved a certificate of need for DTE Energy to build a new combined cycle natural gas plant in southeast Michigan. Electricity produced from this plant will provide reliable service and help replace 3 aging coal plants in the early 2020s. We're just seeing our power supplies fundamentally change in this state in a short period of time. We also monitored the construction of UMERC's natural gas units in the Upper Peninsula that will go into service in 2019 and replace the Presque Isle coal plant in Marquette. MPSC staff and other parties have been active in the Consumers Energy Integrated Resource Plan that has proposals and the examination of the utility's long-term plans, including a proposal to add significant amounts of solar energy. This is up for commission decision in the first half of 2019. We've been reviewing proposals by DTE and consumers to add over 1,400 megawatts of Michigan-based renewable energy, and there were also important steps taken to defer or displace the need for costly infrastructure. And this has been through an expansion of programs that help customers cut their energy waste through more efficient heating and cooling systems, equipment, insulation, and other measures. Most of the power outages that we face are on the distribution system, and I talked a little bit about the aging substations and other issues with poles and wires. It's either trees falling on them or equipment failures with aging equipment. So this last year, Michigan completed its first ever long-term distribution plans for electric distribution. This planning effort and upgrades to the distribution system are absolutely critical to public safety, reliability, and being able to integrate new energy technologies. In November, the Commission provided guidance on the next iteration of plans after reviewing significant stakeholder input, and we appreciate the staff's leadership, the utility's work on this, and all the stakeholder input. Finally, we approved increased investments to replace aging cast iron and bare steel pipelines. Our approach to modernize our natural gas infrastructure is a model for the nation. Our gas operations staff continues to emphasize the importance of safety management systems and gas infrastructure construction, repair, and replacement programs. Third, refunds from the federal tax cut. I'll do my best to channel Commissioner Eubanks on this one, as she's provided tremendous leadership on this topic. We were prompted by staff who were evaluating the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act last December to swiftly and deliberately, with a special meeting between Christmas and New Year's last year. Madam Secretary, we won't be doing that again. Sorry about that. But it was important to ensure that Michigan ratepayers received the full benefit from the federal tax reform and the lower corporate taxes, and flowing that through to get it into the hands of utility ratepayers. I won't repeat the numbers, but the dollars are very significant, hundreds of millions of dollars at a critical time to get reinvested in our state. So thanks to all. This was a huge effort given the number of cases to ensure accurate calculations, administrative law judges, staff, and the parties to work through this. Fourth, audio-visual upgrades. One of our goals at the Public Service Commission is to improve communications and transparency with accessibility to the public. Our administrative services team worked through challenging state procurement processes to deploy audiovisual upgrades that allow us to record and live stream our commission meetings, also can help facilitate staff training sessions and other events where stakeholders can have remote access and participate in our meetings. So thanks to the work on that. Fifth, the gas safety standards. We promulgated today final rules to update our gas safety standards as presented by Tim Wolf and discussed by Commissioner Sari. Our gas operations staff, and many of you are in the front row there, are second to none, and we have outstanding national leadership reputation because of the work that you do. Safety is always at the forefront of what you do. In addition to rulemaking activities and infrastructure review and rate cases, we have highly trained engineers in the field day and sometimes night, monitoring compliance of gas pipeline construction and operations to ensure the safety of 10 million Michiganders. I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Sari for his leadership at the state and national level on this topic. All right, number 6, we're getting there. Electric vehicles, or EVs. The Commission traveled the next mile in the development of electric vehicle programs when the staff hosted an electric vehicle technical conference earlier this year. The discussions led to Consumers Energy and DTE to propose special electric vehicle pilot programs in their pending rate cases. The Commission established itself as a national regulatory leader by providing guidance on 4 important cornerstones of effective EV policy. And these are education, impact on the grid, pricing, and infrastructure development. Again, Commissioner Sari has provided great vision and leadership on this topic and was invited to participate in several national policy forums to discuss the future of electrification of our transportation system. It's important for the Auto State to participate in these discussions that are hosted by the Electric Power Research Institute, the Edison Electric Institute, CERES, the Great Plains Institute, the Alliance to Save Energy, and Electrify America. Number 7, advancements in telecommunications. Our talented and knowledgeable telecommunications division provided technical support to Governor Snyder's Michigan Consortium on Advanced Networks, which released in August a bold roadmap to advance broadband in the state. I had the pleasure of traveling to Escanaba to participate in Governor Snyder's announcement, and while I remember fondly the breathtaking views along US 2, with my full belly with a pasty that I think sustained me for a full 24 hours, I was reminded how we face challenges with communications infrastructure in the state, and it's just not reaching all corners of the state. And that's what this is about. It's a critical issue to address for our economy, public health, safety, and education. The Commission also implemented provisions of Act 51 of 2018 to review the costs associated with Next Generation 911. Incidentally, the Upper Peninsula was one of the first areas in the country to implement a Next Generation 911 system. They came together to integrate their systems and be able to leverage each other's and back each other up through a more modern system. Our staff also coordinated with the federal government and other partners to update the Lifeline low-income program to cover broadband and other changes, and conducted the final rebalancing of the Access Restructuring Mechanism, ARM, fund. Number 8, customer protection and assistance, and this is a core part of the Commission's function. Through a series of actions, we improve protections for customers, particularly those most in need and at risk from being disconnected from their utility service. For example, we ensured improved transparency and consistency in utility practices for disconnection during extreme weather. We instituted new protections for critical care customers. These are customers who are on life support or otherwise need utility service to stay alive. We expanded funding for special rates for low-income customers. We issued over $50 million in grants for low-income energy assistance. And as discussed by Jake Thalen today, the Commission addressed serious issues with improper shutoff of customers and billing rule violations through a major enforcement proceeding. Following the adoption of the new customer protection rules, the Commission also approved new utility tariffs that address the privacy and access to customer energy consumption data. And finally, the staff launched a new stakeholder group to focus on a number of issues dealing with low-income customers. Number 9, new cybersecurity protection rules. Again, this was on our agenda today. These formalized processes for electric utilities, both investor-owned and electric utilities, to report to the Commission on cybersecurity efforts. This kind of communication is absolutely essential so that the regulators understand what the risks are, how utilities are addressing them, and ensure that the dollars that are being recovered are appropriately focused. The rules also establish protocols for reporting cyber breaches to the Commission. And lastly, and not the last item, number 10, is e-dockets. We're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the rollout of the Commission's new e-docket system to manage and provide public access to nearly 130,000 filings in Commission proceedings dating back to 2000. Every day, that number increases. The new system is heavily used with an average of over 200,000 unique users each month since January. Staggering. It also provides reporting and other tools to better manage our dockets. After being one of the first commissions in the country to adopt an electronic system for providing access to our dockets, our legacy system needed replacement. And we used a lean process improvement. The team mapped out the system needs and then worked with the vendor to develop the new system on time and on budget, which doesn't always happen in state government. And over the past year, the team made additional enhancements and cleaned up data to improve the user experience. Many state commissions are now looking to our system as a model. And we have a special acknowledgement for the team members in just a moment. But let me just close by observing that the overarching theme associated with these activities that we're working in a collaborative manner to modernize our energy and telecommunications infrastructure and regulatory approaches to deal and adapt to the changes in these industries. This is not a 1-year endeavor with a known endpoint. We look forward to continued efforts in 2019. We've learned a lot by engaging a wide variety of stakeholders and look forward to continuing the discussions and working with the Michigan legislature and the new governor to ensure safe, reliable, affordable, and environmentally protective regulatory policies. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Byrne to present some awards.
Thank you. My own microphone here. So we just want to acknowledge the team that worked on the lean process improvement to create the e-dockets system, the new e-docket system. I echo the chairman's comments. It's obviously, critical to the work that we do here at the commission. I know staff and probably a lot of the people in this room use the system frequently, probably daily or even more. And so we just want to, thank the team for the work that they did under the leadership of Kavita. What I'm going to do is hand out some coins, leadership coins.
You're trying to get out of the
Get them from the Office of Performance and Transformation. There's 4 different types of coins, and we're going to hand out teamwork coins today. And I'm going to ask everybody on the team to come up here one by one. I'll hand you a coin. You can line up right here. We'll get you guys on the camera. It'll be a great thing. So we want to say thank you. So the project leader is Kavita Kale. Kavita, if you can come up. Thank you.
And we can probably hold on the applause.
Well, we're going to give some special applause to
yeah.
Kavita as the leader. But, okay, so I'll call everybody else up. I'll hand you a coin, and then we can do applause at the end. Robin Ancona. Clap if you want to. Sharon Feldman, Judge Feldman. Lori Mayab. Thank you. Angela McGuire. Alex Marisi. And shake the hand there. Yes, I'm learning. Hi, Angela. Oh, let me grab you. Coin. Danielle Rogers. Okay, Danielle's not here. Judge Sally Wallace. Please. Travis Warner. And so we have a couple people who are not here with us today in addition to Danielle. Here you go. Thank you. Nick Revere and Amy Rittenhouse were both on the team. And then some other folks who weren't necessarily on the team but have helped with the implementation, Lisa Felice. Coin. Handshake. Casey Patrick. And Angela Sanderson. All right, so I think everybody who's here, we can applaud for now.
Yay.
I will also point out that Darrell Slaughter, Susanna Wilcock, and Bob Karras were part of the team when they were here, but they're no longer at the commission. And we'd also like to acknowledge Laura, who provided facilitation support for the LPI process, as well as internal and external focus groups comprised of May, PSC, and AG staff, interveners, utilities, and service providers. So once again, thank you to all of you for your leadership, your teamwork. And I guess Nick's taking a photo right now. But if everybody can kind of get together, well, hold up your coins. Hold up your coins. Thank you.
We tried to entice these staff to attend this meeting because it was a surprise by the time they would get a membership to the Jelly of the Month Club, but so, Christmas vacation reference there. Just a final note about staff. This past year has been one of major transition of our staff. We're seeing employees after 40, 45 years retire, and we'll miss them dearly. We also welcomed over 30 new employees to the Public Service Commission, and some of this was brought about with increased funding for gas safety program, as well as the resources to implement the new energy laws. So we just want to acknowledge all the work by managers, staff, the administration group to facilitate that process, and it's quite remarkable. I also would note, and this is more on a sadder note, but that several of our staff have lost family members recently or dealing with major illness. So our hearts go out to them, and I know this is a difficult time. And with that, happy holidays. So we next up have item 6, public comments. If anyone seeks to address the commission, please come forward. All right, seeing no one.
Madam Chair, before you strike the gavel ending this meeting, we would all be remiss if we didn't acknowledge that the other very important element of hosting this meeting at this particular point in time is to celebrate your birthday. Join us. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Starbird.
Thank you. Usually people forget because they're so busy at this time of year, but thank you very much. All right, so our last regular commission, this is our last regular commission meeting for 2018. Our first regular commission meeting for 2019 is tentatively scheduled for Friday, January 18th, if you want to mark that down. We'll have a formal public notice regarding the first meeting announced shortly after the new year, and we'll publish the full year's schedule at the first meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 The meeting is adjourned.